Yes, YouTube has started as well. Let me check if that's working out. Yes, and we are live everywhere, so that's amazing. Am I in the growth screen? Yes, almost, almost, almost. I'm almost ready, people. So there is my meeting. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of All Mom Interview Series. Today it will be with Laura Helen, which I'm going to ask so many questions because I'm so excited to talk to her. My name is Brekje Mank, and I am a happiness coach. I help depressed mothers get happy fast using my Delete Depression method to build a strong foundation for happiness, and I'm doing everything I can to get as much knowledge for every single one of you to be happy as a mother, be happy as a woman, be happy as a family. And I think Laura Helen is the perfect woman to talk to right now because you coach families with your family, and that triggered so many questions. So, but please, Laura, tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Laura Helen, aka Mummy, of Forever Family, Forever Free. There's four of us, me, Daddy, our little lady Tegan Helen, and our little baby boy Tyler David. We are a family of authors and coaches, and we travel worldwide holding family events and family retreats, making sure that everyone realizes how important family is, helping families realign, reconnect, and then grow together because there's so much disconnect in the world nowadays, especially with devices. So we do things very differently and we help people come together and be the family that they know they could be.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. So you are a family of coaches and authors. I heard your kids are authors, right? Best-selling authors.
So my 9-year-old has just launched his 21st book. So he has a book series called 3 Tips for Aliens that he started at age 4. And his goal is to have 100 by age 10.
Wow,
My
I
daughter,
love that.
my
I
daughter is
so
now
love
12.
that.
She started at 7. She created, and she now has 5 books in 3 languages. She is an inspirational, award-winning, best-selling and international speaker, and she has shared the stage with incredible world changers. Like her CV outdoes mine. Incredible out there, making a difference and making an impact. Sharing, they just share all the life stories they learn. They share all the self development they learn in a kid friendly way because it's not taught to children out there.
That's so true. There is a lot of stuff out there for grown-ups, but it's so good to already start in your childhood. It will prevent so much. I'm trying to find a decent word. It's going to prevent so much trouble. Let's go for trouble. So,
We want
okay,
to give our kids a childhood that they don't have to heal from because
yeah,
most grown
exactly.
ups
And
need to
how are you
heal
doing it?
something. So we travel full time worldwide. We what we call world school our children. So we have them at home with us. They learn with us, but obviously we travel, so they learn countries and cultures and languages and backgrounds. To when they learn history, they learn several different perspectives and come to their own conclusion instead of reading the one textbook way they're taught in a classroom. So they really have this broad, open-minded view. We take them to all the events we go to, um, groundbreaking, expensive, worldwide, amazing events. So they're learning at the same time as us. And they actually learn it faster because we've got to try and get rid of all the stuff. They're empty sponges. So I think
They're
we learn more
open.
from them than they learn from us on a daily basis. They are just incredible.
I so love that. Like, that's my ultimate goal to make my kids world wise. Like, I grew up in a very, very small town, so everything I know I learned from books and movies. Like, for a very, very long time, my true world was the movies. So I absolutely love that you are doing that. But how you say that you are connecting in a different way as a family to make sure your kids grow up uh, to have a childhood that they don't have to heal from. So what would be different from what you do compared to probably what I do? So I would like to know more about that.
I think communication is key. And while we make all the conversations kid friendly, we don't talk at them like they're kids. Like, they are so well socialized, they could come and be interviewed by you and have an adult conversation and go really deep on stuff. And they can hold that level of conversation because we've always spoken to them kind of as equals. Maybe we used to tone down the language when they were younger to make it simple and easy to understand.
Yeah.
But we've always had that a kind of equal respect, I guess. And we involve them in when we're creating plans, we work through it and we do it together. We started off every week, we had family meetings because communication, we realised, is so important. Because when you look at troubled teens that don't get on with their parents,
yeah,
it's not one thing that happened. It's a little thing on top of a little thing on top of a little thing. Times by teen years of these little things of not being listened to now blow up. No one knows why they've fallen out. No one knows why they don't exactly like each other. And it's because of multiple little things. Whereas we get that out the way we don't do it as weekly anymore because it's just become our lifestyle, the way we talk to each other. But we always just clear the air, get it sorted, overcome, rebond, make that reconnection so that it's always that solid foundation. Because
so
when they're
that would
little,
be
they
one
talk
thing you've
to you.
always had, like once a week, to clear things that you didn't cover like during the week.
Or misunderstandings that happened and maybe they couldn't be voiced at the time. Me and Daddy have grown a lot on this journey too. Like the whole being very aware as a parent, mindful parenting we call it. Now people go, wow, it's flawless. It seems so easy. It's taken 8-9 years of practice.
I was just going to ask that. Like your life probably hasn't always been this way.
No, it's been crazy, crazy tough. Anyone who knows any bit about our story knows that when I was pregnant with my little boy, we brought home Tegan at age 3. Now, she'd been through every form of abuse possible by age 3. She couldn't speak. She didn't know her name. We had to rehab her. It was
so you
traumatic
adopted
for
her?
everybody. We spent 2.5 years, tens of thousands of pounds, which is how we got upside down in our finance, to make sure she was safe. And she became part of our forever family, which is where the first part of our branding name came from.
Nice. I love that.
So we didn't start, because so many people, it's so easy to see people that are successful out there living. Oh, wow, they travel the world. Oh, they're such a great family. They're authors. They're inspiring people. Yeah. We only inspire people because of where we came from.
And can where you imagine, do you come from? Would you like to
can
share
you imagine, I'm 9-10 months pregnant. I have a 3-year-old who's just starting to get her grasp on language, telling me things I wish I'd never hear out of anyone's mouth, let alone a child's. And as if that's not tough enough already, I'm 10 months pregnant. Now, anyone who's had kids knows you're an emotional wreck at 10 months pregnant.
Terrible.
So I'd handle it. I'd do an amazing job, and then I'd go downstairs, and hubby would kind of be waiting because it was always at bedtime, she shared. And he'd be like, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like, "Oh." So we had this huge trauma of learning all this stuff that she'd been through, and then we had to find ways to help and work through it whilst having my first baby. Whilst going from 2 salaries to 1 salary, and then the legal fees to try and help keep these kids safe were beyond anything we'd ever paid before. They were higher than all of our monthly outgoings just to live. Yeah. We had to go from a 2-bed to at least a 3-bed. Financially, we were upside down. We were at the point of bankruptcy. And the month we were due to kind of throw in the towel, instead of paying rent, I actually bought a ticket for UPW in London to see the Mr. Tony Robbins. And I was like, if we're going to lose it anyway, it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
And I went and I played full out. No one has played as hard as I played in those 3.5 days. And then I came back and I was like, okay, let's create a way out of this. And we didn't know the way because we had so much month left at the end of every paycheck. We lowered our expenses. We didn't have, our kids didn't have TV, so we didn't have TV licenses. We didn't eat out. We rounded it down from 3 cars to 2, then down to 1. We'd cut every expense that we could think of, to the point some weeks I sold furniture to make money to feed my children. When I say things were intense, oh my gosh,
That
I
sounds
smile and laugh now because it's my coping mechanism. At the time, it was like, all the time being this happy, crazy, loving mummy to make sure the kids, they had no idea what we were struggling through. We
and you
had
were
Tegan's,
pregnant, and then a little bit later you were with a newborn baby during this.
and a traumatized 3-year-old who woke up 5 to 7 times a night screaming with night terrors.
Oh my
So
God, that's like
I didn't know what sleep was
trouble
for
on
about 5 years.
steroids. That's heavy.
And hubby was working 2, 3 jobs, so I didn't want him waking up. So I'm trying to settle our beautiful 3-year-old without waking the baby, and then trying to settle the baby.
Oh, that's just stress already, right? Just that, it's already stressful.
And then you add all the finances, and there was just no way out, and we just couldn't see the way out. Then we got really creative. UPW opened. It unleashed the power within,
UPW
like
just
it's true.
unleashed the power within, right?
Yeah, and it absolutely did that. And I went back and I set up new routines, and we started to. I like to visualize my ideas. We started to draw these things out, and we realized our monthly outgoings, we couldn't get them down doing things the normal way with the house, the car, the job, the school. So we went from my husband worked for a big company, so he just transferred, and we lived in Airbnbs, because Airbnb, the monthly cost is cheaper, and it's all inclusive, everything apart from food.
That's so true.
No bills, none of this crazy outgoings. It was just one payment to Airbnb and food. And because my hubby had gone from Little Cornwall to London, his salary had gone up. Wow,
So you had some breathing space. That's
so we
creative though.
felt like
Like
there's a possible.
I can imagine that people not you don't come up with that. Like a lot of people want to keep their home, keep that safe space, keep stay in their comfort zone, and you just left that. I absolutely
People thought we were crazy. Like all our immediate friends and family, a lot of them didn't talk to us for about 2 years. They thought we were that. My kids out in school, we'd have one case each. You're going off, kind of jet setting. People didn't understand it, they didn't get it, and they just kind of washed their hands of us because it was so far out. It seemed so extreme, they didn't understand.
yeah.
But when you start looking at your monthly costs, we went to Costa Rica, which was one of our favorite places as a family. It cost $300 a month, all inclusive, apart from food. Everywhere around us was fruit trees and pineapples and coconuts and bananas and plantain and watermelon. When
I
we did
really need
spend
to
money on
talk to my
food,
husband right now.
I know, right? So even if we ate out a few times a month, it never cost more than $100 a month to feed ourselves. So that's $400 a month for us to live in a tropical climate, in a beautiful cabana with a pool next to the beach, eating all this amazing fresh stuff, fresh from the plants, rather than, from markets and whatever other crazy things people buy in packets. $300 a month, 400 including food.
That's
Suddenly,
crazy.
we're
So,
living upside down and we can pay everything back.
yeah.
It's not so scary to leave the job and create when you've only got to create $400 a month to survive.
That's so true. Like, just repeat that again so people can really let that sink in because this is something that would make everyone's world and opportunities bigger.
And Costa Rica is just one example. You go to places like Bali and you can half it again. People think they've got to replace their salary with their business. That's only if you keep the same bills. So if we're paying just $400 maximum in Costa Rica, all we need is $400 to survive. Anything else is a bonus, and we can be paying back all the stuff that most people would have gone bankrupt, declared it, got rid of the debt. We paid
Oh,
it all off within 3 years whilst traveling the world.
I'm almost getting out of words, and that's a difficult thing to do. But then this triggers a question within me, which I'm sure a few viewers have that same question. You need to get there first. Like we have 3 children, so we're with the 5 of us. Booking a ticket to Costa Rica, it's expensive. So how did you start that? Like you got your expenses while you were still in your rental home? And did you start up to save money to buy those plane tickets or how did you do that?
Okay, so we started off in the UK. Like I said, we started off in London. So we stayed in our own country, but we Airbnb'd. And we kept trying to find cheaper ones. We weren't fussy. We didn't need a big 4-bedroom house. We just needed somewhere safe, comfortable. The kids had their space, we had our space. So we kept bringing it down so we could keep paying back, paying back, paying back. We went to so many events while we were in London. I remember the craziest was we did 33 events in 30 days at one point. Sometimes I'm on the stage, sometimes my daughter's on the stage, sometimes all of us are on the stage, and sometimes we're just in the audience. And we went out there and we built our brand. We have our family brand and we also create best-selling authors. So we had 2 businesses. We went out there and we connected. We networked our butts off to get known in our business so we could start relying on our business. So it wasn't just a quick jump in. So we worked really, really hard and created that.
All 4 of you?
All 4 of us. Yeah, exactly. And we work together. That's why we're so tight. We've got through it all. The kids don't always know the drastic extent of how bad things were at times, but they know it doesn't come easy and you have to work hard, and they've seen the fruits of what we've put in. But what happened was this next following year, UPW, I bought a ticket for my husband because you can't explain that event to someone. It's too big. It's too much. So I was like, we want to share the same experience. I want you to go. Now, since the first year, and I told the kids, and we changed our life, and Mummy was this new incredible person. We didn't have TV, but I would watch Tony on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
So they kind of got to know who this person was. And they're like, wow, can we go? Can we go? And we told them yes every day. Now, kids pay the same price as adults, and we could not afford the tickets. So we just told them yes every day. We have dream boards. We believe in manifestation. We couldn't quite manage it by the time it came. And the lady I bought the ticket off for David, I said, if you ever have any tickets left over and you would take me on a promise of like direct debit, like a monthly thing, I'd be forever grateful. Don't not make the sale. Please think of me. So Daddy's gone. We all know he's going to UPW. 6 o'clock the morning of the first UPW, this lady calls me and said, if you're serious, come down now. You guys can go to UPW. So the kids didn't even know they weren't going. So the morning they woke up and I said, okay, who wants to see Tony Robbins?
Yes.
They went, ah! They went absolutely crazy. Daddy had been queuing since 5 in the morning and we had great tickets, even though we were paying money. He'd run in, got us seats, front row aisles. We go run in and join him. My kids on the end like, it's Tony Robbins. Long story short, we meet Tony Robbins. Tegan makes lots of videos about walking on fire and meeting him, and he invites us to Date with Destiny in Florida.
Wow.
Amazing to go as his guests. We couldn't afford we had no way of getting there. And I mean, I had some amazing people and coaches beside me that were rooting for me. The day before, even they were like, Laura, what's plan B? Because we had no hotel booked for the day we were supposed to fly. I had no flights booked for the day we were supposed to fly. And I'm like, there isn't a plan B. It's going to work out. Ah! And about midnight, one of my clients in America was like, what have I been waiting for? Let's do this. And they paid for our service.
Wow.
And I booked the tickets, and 12 hours later, we were on the plane. Now, that sounds amazing, right? I'm on the plane going, yay, with my kids in my head going, we're going to a country I've never been to. We have nowhere to stay, and I have no money to pay for anything.
Holy crap. But you're there.
Oh, my gosh. No.
Oh.
But we're closer, right? I land, another client, one of their payments came through. We booked a place for the 10 days for the event.
And that's like the power of the universe and the law of attraction, right? That's just...
And then you think, yeah, you do it. We then had to get to the event, which getting there is fine. It's $2 on a bus. Getting back, Tony time, so we were talking 3, 4 in the morning. We were staying far away because it was cheap. and I have my daughter with me, who's like 8 years old at this point. How am I going to get her back at this time of night? It just was crazy. And we met some people in the queue. I never used to share my story because it was my stuff. I've got this.
Yeah.
I've grown a lot since then. But someone we met in the queue and we had a very brief encounter with ran over to me, threw it at me and ran away. And I was a bit like, what was that? And it says, I don't know what your story is yet, but I hope this will help you breathe. And it was about $500 in an envelope.
Oh my God.
And that was what we needed to get there and back and all eat for the next 10 days. So pure faith, craziness, all of the above. It got us there, got us to that event. Tegan got the incredible... My driving force was having my daughter healed now, not when she's 30. And she got to work with Master Code, Donnie Epstein, and Tony Robbins.
This, like, just that experience alone already, like, apart from A Date with Destiny, which is an experience on its own, but just the, wow, just getting from the UK to A Date with Destiny, it's just like, holy moly, such a leap of faith, though. Like, you had
Blind
no
faith,
clue what to do,
completely
you had
blind.
no clue how to get there, but you were determined to get there, and you got there. Like, that's only that, just to let that sink in, like, truly let this sink in, people, because it's faith, like, beyond any measure. It's pure faith in that everything will work out. I don't know how, but it will. And it did. It's like, holy
Our
moly.
mindset was so messed up then that when we booked our tickets, we booked return flights. We booked the full 3 months before we returned because we thought if we're going to be homeless, at least it's warm in Florida. If we come back to London, we're going to freeze. That was
I like that
actually our
attitude.
mindset when we booked the tickets. Like we actually thought we'll take the full 3 months because Florida's warm. If we're going to be on the streets, at least our kids won't freeze. Was actually our mindset when we got on the plane.
That's crazy. Oh my God. And this is, I sure, we are already like almost on 30 minutes, and there's like a million questions I want to ask you just because of this story. Like, holy moly. So that was like a jump start of your journey, starting to travel the world. Oh,
Yeah, and then from there is when we went to Costa Rica because we suddenly realized, oh my gosh, our visa's up, our 3 months, we need to get out of the US. How far can we go but be close enough to come back if we want to? And Costa Rica came up. When I say we travel, flights are only expensive if you want an exact date, an exact time. If you're doing it in the school holidays, that's when it's expensive. Now, if you're in Europe, we can fly around for £10 piece. If you're
that's
not fussy
so
on the
true.
date and time.
That
You
is so
Ryanair,
true.
UK
That
to
saves
anywhere,
you
it's
like
about a tenner.
that saves you a shitload of money. Sorry for my language, but that saves you a lot of money when you're not. So, okay. So, just to grab. Oh my God. We're so going to talk again though, because it's this is amazing. So, what do you do? Like, do you homeschool your kids when you're on the road, or do you have like a private teacher that is online schooling? How do you take care of
We call it world schooling, but we kind of unschool because people are like, oh, are you taking 6 weeks off right now? No, life schooling never ends. It never turns off. My kids are always learning and growing and new discoveries, like your toddlers would. So when you see your toddlers, anything's interesting. They want to take it all apart and see how it works. Because my kids have never been force fed schooling,
it?
they still have that curiosity and that interest. And even if we're just making a meal or we're growing our veggies, they're always learning something. And when they ask questions, we really answer it. That's the curriculum we follow. They ask a question, we really answer. We look into it, we research it, we discover, and we play and find out together. So It's not a strict, we do schooling like this. We get out, learn, play, and discover together.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I, but keeping my husband in mind, like for me, I know education is not everything to be successful in life. So, but there are still many people out there that think a education and a degree and things like that is important. How do you deal with that? Because I absolutely agree that world schooling, I love that concept. Like everyone should do that basically. But are you getting them like educated with a degree, or do you just skip that whole part and just make them world wise and just let them be whoever they want to be?
So, firstly, there's a big difference between schooling and education.
Yeah,
They are two completely different things. Schooling is being force fed things to memorize and then repeat back.
yeah,
Education is actually learning the skills, living the skills, using those skills. So, if you ask my kids what they want to be when they're older, they will say happy. That is our life goal. That's the biggest
I
thing on
love
our dream
that.
board is happiness. If you repurpose your question and say, what difference do you want to create in the world? That's when their passion comes alive, and that's when they really light up and will share what they want to do and create. Now, if one of them wanted to be a doctor or a vet, we know plenty of other world schoolers, homeschoolers that have done zero, GCSE, I don't even know what they're called anymore, zero exams and things, and they still get straight into university. They're accepted into uni, they can go and do their doctorate or whatever it is they need to do
Yeah,
because they have so much more than just the schooling, and they're just great wholesome people, and they're so open minded. They've met so many different cultures, backgrounds. Everyone is so different in every place we go to, and they get to see that and experience that. They're worldly kids.
yeah.
So I wouldn't care if they went and scoop chips in McDonald's. Our goal is happiness. I mean, they're already making passive income. My 9-year-old has 21 books. Did I mention that? Proud mummy over here on Amazon. So he's already making passive income. They know the power of compounding interest. At the moment, they don't need that money, so they go in their account, builds on the interest. I have no worries that my kids will ever want for anything because they know enough. If they add massive value, they will never go without.
I absolutely just love everything you just said. Like, oh my God, if just people are ready to realize what you just said and how that would impact the world if we would be able to raise our kids in that kind of way, like world peace would be around the corner probably.
We could change the world in one generation, especially that's why we think family is so important. There was a big
Yes.
study done. If everyone had a loving mum, the world would change in one generation. So my goal is to be world's best mummy and help make that difference.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that.
Having that is just, oh my goodness, I can't even describe. And school, they feed you that. Me and hubby learn so much by doing this. So many people, when we coach parents, say, but I'm not clever enough to teach my kid. But you went to school. Doesn't that tell you the system's broken? So we learn with our kids. We don't worry about, oh my God, I don't know everything. We learn together. For me and hubby, when we went to America, if you mention the name Christopher Columbus in America, it's a very different reaction to what you'd get in the UK. We were taught he's this great guy and he went and discovered. In America, he's this brutal guy who took lands, raped women, tortured villages. I never knew any of that. I just had my pretty little English history book that told me one version.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's been crazy. And then you speak to locals in the area that you're learning about and their grandparents and their stories. You you get all this information and you can literally create your own conclusion of what happened from all these versions rather than, yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. Oh,
Kids should question more. We teach them how to think, not what to think. I think that's the big differentiation.
I love that. You teach them how to think instead of what to think. I absolutely love that. Oh my God, I could talk to you for hours and hours, but we are we are going to wrap this up. Um, if there would be one golden tip you could give a mother right now who is struggling out there with all these things, like feeling, hello, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Very nice. What do you have there? Is it one of your own books?
Is that one of your books?
Yes, this is my third book in Spanish.
That's absolutely awesome. Se valienta para niños. Did I say that right?
Yes. Be fearless for kids.
Oh, wow. You do awesome things.
You do awesome things.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Maybe we should do an interview with the whole family sometime. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be awesome. Then, okay, so if you could have one tip to us struggling moms out there that are feeling the pressure of the system and education and whatever else there is to be worried about, what would you say to those women?
I think this past year has been the biggest challenge for mums everywhere. People used to look at me and be like, oh, little house on the prairie, mum, oh, look at you just playing with the kids all day. And then the pandemic happened. And all of a sudden, I am Superwoman. And they're all on the phone like, how do you do this? And they're trying to keep up with the school and do the curriculum and do all this crazy stuff. And my advice for everybody was, they're going to go over it all again because not everybody's going to do the work. Right now, bond with your children. Teach them life experience. Teach them how to bake and how to make cookies and how to dip the oil in the car and check the tire pressures and do things in the garden. Teach them real life skills and work on bonding and getting to know your kids. Don't make it, oh my gosh, do you remember that year was the worst year ever? Make it the best year your family's ever had. Connect with your children. Don't overthink things. The things they need to know, they will learn.
Yeah.
And so many people are fearful of homeschooling. Teachers tell you it's illegal. We had all this jargon when we tried to take Tegan out. In the UK, you just have to write your notice, and then it's that easy.
Oh, wow.
So many people overthink it and think it's this huge, complicated wreck.
But it's not.
It's not. There's a few bad apples that maybe don't do what they could do for their kids. You're an incredible... One thing mums all need to hear. You are incredible. The fact that you're watching this, listening to this, trying to be better, we all have those days when we cry because we think we're a complete failure. That makes you amazing because you care so much and you're doing everything you can to be the best mum you can be. We do not get the credit, especially from other mummies, that we deserve.
So true. So let's give that credit. Thank you so much for those very nice words because that's just beautiful. That just shows you how a beautiful woman and mother you are. So thank you for that. Where do people can find you and your family when they want to get in touch or in contact or work with you or be coached by you? Where can they find you?
So we are Forever Family, forever free. We obviously Forever Family because Tegan became our Forever Family when we won the adoption. Yay! And now we're free and traveling. So Forever Family, forever free. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram probably has the best stories of our journeys. And I'm Laura Helen Herbert if you want to find and connect with me on Facebook.
Laura, I want to thank you so much for this interview. It was amazing, and I really hope to speak to you again soon because this was just, I don't know. I'm going to grab my husband by the arm and just like, we need to talk to this woman together. We need to talk to this family.
And sometimes the other partner doesn't jump straight in. When we first got on our flight, the first place we went was Spain. Because I was like, stop putting 50 hours in building someone else's business. They could be used to build ours. Let's take the leap of faith. He called in sick to that job for 3 months.
Wow.
We were in Spain and he called in sick for 3 months because I was like, burn the boats, let's go. And he was like, yeah, but what if? I mean, his toolbox is still in that garage and he's still welcome back at any point.
Yeah.
That's 5 years ago.
Good. Good. I love that. Lauren, I want to wish you an amazing day. Have a very good day and a very good life. I wish you all the love and happiness for you and your family. And I really hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure and honor to join you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments or send me or Laura a direct message and we will get back to you. Wishing you all much love and happiness and an amazing day. Bye.